On February 16, 2008, a dozen or so people made up of UCSD students, San Diego resident, and I gathered near the trolley station on the United States side of the border to cross over to Mexico. We were then guided across the San Ysidro border by members of the San Diego Maquiladora Workers Solidarity Network. The walk took us over the Interstate 5 freeway, and in the close distance I could see Tijuana. Below me were cars lined up at the border checkpoint to be processed for entry into the United States. The walk was not long, and within minutes I crossed the border seamlessly. I was in Tijuana, Mexico. With this checkpoint station vacant, it makes me wonder if the Mexican authority even takes their foreign visitors seriously. Not far from the vacant checkpoint station awaited our transportation for the tour. Awaiting with the bus was Enrique Davalos, an assistant professor of Chicano study at San Diego City College. Enrique acted as our main guide and shared with us his expertise and the purpose of the Maquiladora tour. The social space and living condition I observed as we were driven to our first destination did not shock me, but I was amazed by how bad it was. For some reason, I did not expect to see dirt roads, and for these conditions to exist literally next door to the United States was surprising. It would have been more reasonable for me if there was a smooth transition between boundaries, like crossing a mountain, but to see the change so abruptly was unexpected. Faces of workers I saw on the street as the bus passed them by expressed looks of desperation, striving for survival, and uncertainty about their future. Across the street from where this boys stand is a memorial fence remembering those who have perished trying to cross the border as a result of a 1994 U.S. border plan called Operation Gatekeeper.
So the U.S. government said, we also want to build a wall between the United States and Mexico because we don't want people coming here anymore. And we're going, that's crazy. You're going to build a wall? Wasn't it Reagan that said to Gorbachev, tear down this wall? Now you're going to build a wall? People aren't going to stop coming. They've been coming here for thousands of years since Operation Gatekeeper began in October of 1994. 10,000 people. All of them have a story. All of them have parents that never expected their children to die crossing the desert. Yesterday, I was at a cemetery, just yesterday at this time, where there's 650 people buried that are unidentified. They're unidentified, but they're not forgotten. I go there every month to put crosses and to remember them and say some prayers. Sometimes I do it in a small group like yesterday. Sometimes I have other people that come with us. And it's in Imperial Valley in Holtville. In Imperial Valley, you've all heard of El Centro and Calexico. Well, there's a city called Holtville also. H-O-L-T, Holtville. And in that cemetery, there's a regular cemetery, like you all have seen with grass and headstones. Then way in the back, way in the back, there's just a bunch of dirt with a bunch of bricks. And those bricks say John Doe, if it's a man or a little boy, or Jane Doe, if it's a woman or a little girl. And there's 650 of them. And I asked the guy that was there, I go, when was the last time you buried somebody? And they go, this morning. And so it's tragic that these people are dying every day. 2 to 3 people are dying every day looking for opportunity.
Our next destination took us to one of the two main attractions of the tour, the Maquiladora district. The bus navigated through streets with assembly lines on both sides. Due to low tax and limited regulation, corporations have little incentives to take into consideration about where or how their wastes are disposed. As an example, workers at this cleanup site are filling the lead-contaminated soil with some sort of neutralizing agent before sealing the soil into a special container and reburying it. Injustice was done on the land and now on the workers who are cleaning up the mess. Sometimes workers are not informed about the hazard of their work. Workers are not given safety gears to wear, either that or it's not mandatorily enforced. This is an example of exploitation fully visible for all of us to see. The Maquiladora tour isn't complete until you visit a Maquiladora worker colony or town that surrounds the factories. This colony is constructed by whatever worker can find to make their home. Whole families, young and old, live in these shafts. And for the children, it's where they play. Sadly, it's also where toxic runoff released from the factories upstream flows through. This gentleman once lived in the United States, but got deported, if I remember the story correctly. Share with the group how he would risk his life again to cross the border. To him, it's worth it because in America he would be making $1,000 a month compared to $100 he's making now. As we were about to cross over that wooden bridge over the contaminated water stream, the neighborhood weekly water supply tanker was departing. This is how the people in the colony get their water supply. Then again, there are those who have the luxury of having sparkling water delivered to them. I was really surprised and confused, because I thought that everyone in the area were poor. I guess it goes to show that the poor and the rich live in an integrated neighborhood around here, unlike in the United States where there are distinct boundaries between different socio-economic communities. As we left the Maquiladora colony to the Worker Solidarity office in Tijuana called CTAC, on the way there I spotted a Carl's Jr. on a geographic vendor. As you can see, not only does the restaurant look like its American counterpart, but also the sidewalk and the exterior decorations. Among other images of modern development in Tijuana are shopping centers. I wonder if Tijuana can ever become a transnational city with the existing poor living conditions. The location of the area I have just talked about can be found on Google using Google Maps. This is a map of the border between California and Baja California, Mexico. You can see that the southern tip of San Diego and most of Tijuana. If you know where to look, the Maquiladora complex in Tijuana is located right here. It's about 3 square miles and with one side directly adjacent to the United States border. And this is where the lead contaminated field is located. On the map, the cleanup project has not begun. Zooming out and a little bit southwest is the Maquiladora colony, stretching down along the stream. And surprisingly, the stream is greener on the map than it was when we saw it. Also, you can see that the area is unmapped. There is no street name and nothing to identify the colony. After lunch at CTEC, we spent 2 hours listening to personal accounts and story of struggle for equality and justice for Maquiladora workers in Tijuana. This is Ramiro's, who shared with the group a story about his wife Alexia, who became handicapped after a job injury. Alexia's handicap could have been prevented, but because the Maquiladora she worked at had no incentive to pay for her treatment, a doctor paid by her employer falsely informed Alexia that she was okay and did not need a surgery. When Ramirez and his wife found out the truth, it was too late. Currently, they are trying to file for full disability aids with the federal government, but at the moment, they are only receiving half. This is Jaime Corta, a staff worker of CTEC. He lectured to the group about the injustice and exploitative conditions within the Maquiladora industry in Tijuana. In Maquiladora factory, thousands of Mexican workers and men labor from sunup to sundown in conditions that fill their bodies with toxins, shorten their lives, and contaminate their community. Employers have high expectations for product qualities, but employees are only given obsolete machineries to work with. When workers are injured or used up, they are laid off or fired for some pretext. Among others is Carmen Valadillas, a bi-national feminist collective activist, and her mission is to fight for women's rights in Maquiladoras. She shares stories of how women workers routinely suffer humiliation, sexual harassment, and discrimination. Pregnant workers are not warned of the danger to their unborn children because of the toxic chemical they handle, and pregnant women are often not moved to safer work area. Until significant changes are made in Tijuana, Maquiladora activists will continue to fight for their rights. But until then, seeing the face of desperation and survival will always be a part of the Tijuana experience.